Yet another 2000s gem. Let's do it. Mirrors opens up with the security guard who is clearly in distress, and he gets to this like room full of mirrors. He is begging his reflection for his life, but his reflection then takes a shard of glass and slits his own throat. The wound shows up on the security guard in real life and he dies. And then we meet our main character, Ben Carson. So Ben is a suspended police detective and he took a job at a security department in this abandoned department store. However, this department store still contains a bunch of mirrors. So his first night on the job, he notices that one mirror has all these handprints on it, but they're only on like the inside of the mirror. And immediately he starts to have these like visual hallucinations through the mirror, like he sees an open door in the mirror, but in real life it's closed. He kind of just shrugs it off and thinks he's going crazy because he's also going through like a separation with his wife. One night, Ben finds the wallet of the previous security guard, who is the guy that we saw at the beginning. And in the wallet, he finds a note that says Essaker. Since he's from the police force, he's able to gain access to the crime scene photos, and he notices that there is no blood on the mirror shard in the crime scene photo of his death. So Ben then becomes convinced that the mirrors possess people to do things. Ben has a sister named Angie, and one night she's at home and she's going to take a bath. She looks in her reflection, but when she walks away, we still see the reflection standing there like this. The reflection then grabs her jaw and rips it open, which causes Angie to die in real life. Ben is obviously completely distraught and goes back to the department store and tries to destroy all the mirrors, but they will not break. So now he's like screaming at the mirrors, demanding to know what they want, and a crack shows up and spells out the word Essaker, which he found in the security guard's wallet earlier. He tries to find anybody named Essaker, but nobody comes up. So instead, he contacts the previous security guard, who actually is the one who set the fire at the department store, which caused it to burn down and be abandoned. But he learns that this guy, whose name was Terrence, has already died. But he finds out that Terrence was in a mental institution before he died, so he goes there to find out any information he can. Once he's there, he is shown a video of Terrence before he died saying that the mirrors were responsible for his family's death because he was unable to find Essaker. And that's when Ben realizes that his family is in danger. So Amy, his wife, comes home to find him painting over all the mirrors. Obviously, she thinks he's crazy and threatens to call the cops, and then he takes her outside and shoots a mirror, thinking that nothing's going to happen to it, just like the department store ones. But of course, it's damaged, making him look even crazier. Ben goes back to the department store and this time goes to the basement, and he finds this sign that says St. Matthew's Hospital. And he breaks down this wall to uncover this room that is just a chair in the middle, completely surrounded by mirrors. So now he understands that the department store was built on a former psychiatric hospital. So now, knowing the name of the hospital, Ben goes to one of his cop friends and asks for like a list of all their patients, and finds that one of them was Anna Essaker. And when she was 12 years old, she died in a mass suicide. However, when he looks into it further, he discovers that she was discharged from the hospital 2 days prior to the mass suicide, which leads him to believe that she's still alive. Meanwhile, back at home, Amy finds their son Michael acting different, and one day she walks in on him looking in this mirror, but when he turns, his reflection doesn't right away. So she calls Ben panicked, finally believing him, and he comes home and they cover all of the mirrors in the house. And they cover anything else with a reflection, so like windows, picture frames. Ben is eventually led to Anna Essaker's childhood home, and he discovers that as a kid she was diagnosed with severe schizophrenia and was super violent and uncontrollable. She was taken to St. Matthew's Hospital, where her treatment was to be tied to this chair completely surrounded by mirrors to look at her own reflection. And basically like forcing her to confront herself would cure her. Anna's brother tells Ben that Anna eventually returned from the hospital, but when she did, things got weird. And weird shit started happening with the mirrors, just like it is now. So they ended up sending Anna to a convent that doesn't allow mirrors. Ben then tracks down this convent and finds out that Anna is still alive. And she tells him that when she was a kid, she was actually possessed by a demon that ended up leaving her, but then got trapped in the mirrors in that room. And the mirrors basically collect the souls of the people that it kills. And her returning would then make it possible for the demon to come into the human world, so she refuses to go. Meanwhile, back at home, Amy discovers that Michael is missing, and though all the mirrors and everything have been covered, she finds water on the floor, which is causing a reflection. Amy puts their daughter in a closet to hide her, and then finds Michael scraping the paint off all the mirrors. Amy tries to stop him, but he escapes, and at this point, obviously, we can see that he's possessed. Ben threatens Anna at gunpoint and forces her to come back to the department store to this room. Simultaneously, back at home, Michael is pulled into the water by his own reflection and is starting to be drowned. However, back at the department store, it's complete chaos. The lights are flickering, and the demons are released from the mirror and possess Anna. And when they do that, all the mirrors explode. And at the same time, Michael is released and Amy brings him to safety. Anna then proceeds to attack Ben, who manages to light her on fire. He does that by causing an explosion, which then causes the whole place to collapse and he gets trapped. However, we then see that he pulls himself out of the rubble and escapes. Or so we think. He goes outside and sees like police and firefighters everywhere, but nobody seems to see him. He looks at one of the police officers' name tags and notices that it is backwards. And he's completely in a reverse world. And he and we, the audience, come to understand that he actually died in the fire and now exists in the mirror world. He goes to touch the mirror, which leaves a handprint from the inside. So that's why he was seeing all those handprints earlier.